So we've got charges in the church intimidation case, and we've got Jack Smith on the stand. A lot to get to. I'm Tony Katz. This is the Master Blends 3, one of the cigars I usually smoke during the show. Welcome. Let's get it going. Let's bring on the radio. Jack Smith is on the stand. I will get to that in a moment. His testimony in front of the House committee and the questions asked to him by Representative Jim Jordan. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Who is Jack Smith? Jack Smith was the special counsel. He was investigating President Trump, although he never had the right to be a special counsel, but don't let that stop anybody from having a good time. He was the one who said, show me the man and I'll show you the crime. Like he's this great American I should be caring much about. I don't believe he is or was at all. But the big story right now is that there have been arrests that have taken place. Minnesota agitators arrested in the wake of the church invasion. This, according to Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States. Minutes ago, at my direction, FBI agents executed an arrest in Minnesota. So far, we have arrested Nakima Levy-Armstrong, who allegedly played a key role in organizing the coordinated attack on the city's church in St. Paul, Minnesota. We will share more updates as they become available. Listen loud and clear. We do not tolerate attacks on places of worship. And she wrote that in all capital letters, so the Attorney General must be serious. Personally, I'm impressed. We got arrests in something that people should have been arrested for, rightfully so. I was glad to see it. Some people were saying, these things take time, and you got to give people time, and you got to give the AG time and the FBI time. I don't believe that they actually prosecute. I'm amazed to see it. So don't tell me I need to give them time. It was always going to be this way. That's not true. The update from the Attorney General: a second arrest has been made at my direction. Chantel Louisa Allen has been taken into custody as well. So you have two arrests that have taken place. Kristi Noem following up, saying that these people have been arrested, charged with a federal crime under 18 U.S.C. 241. Religious freedom is the bedrock of the United States. There is no First Amendment right to obstruct someone from practicing their religion. And that is what happened. That is what took place. We should note that this Chantel Allen, she's a member of the St. Paul School Board. Now, I've got a whole school board story that Libs of TikTok has now made national, which involves a high school quite literally just down the road from me. Just down the road in a place called Carmel, Indiana. And this story is about something we discussed yesterday, a national walkout to protest ICE from children. I know they don't like being referred to as that, but when you're 16 and when you're 17, that's what you are. And it's okay. I'm not saying you're bad people. I am saying that I don't listen to you when it comes to policy. And if there are indeed parents supporting you skipping school so you can engage some kind of anger at ICE without fully understanding all the ins and outs of immigration, illegal immigration, and the rest, those being two different things, well, then I've got a problem. You not being in school is a problem. I was told the school was very important, and now I'm hearing the school is not important. And most importantly, if there were administration involved in allowing students to leave and disrupt other people's education, well then, some people have to get fired. I'm going to get into this subject. Oh, and don't worry, at the high school near me, they can hear me. Oh, I'm live. And guaranteed, people are right now calling and saying, Tony Katz is going to talk about this. Oh, yeah. I expect a big listener bump in just a few minutes. The arrests are a good thing, but the arrests don't end the thing. I'm impressed. One could argue that these arrests are going to lead to more people now questioning whether or not they should disrupt churches in the future. I'm not so sure about that. A good tactic is one that your people enjoy. And as we know from one of these lowlifes, referring to himself as a revolutionary, saying you can, if you don't like what I did, you just kill me. Go ahead, kill me, because you can kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution. So this isn't about ICE. This isn't about ICE tactics. Can we put an end to the conversation? This is about ICE and ICE tactics? No. This is about the political left wanting to do away with, put an end to Western civilization in the United States of America. How do you do this? You go after Christians. What did you think? Jews were the only people they were angry at? We discussed it here. We all know the answer. Jews were first. You've heard people say this. They're just the canary in the coal mines. In order for the Marxists to be successful in the Red-Green Alliance, to have any type of proof of concept or any type of success, you have to put an end to Christians. That's what you have to do. How else can you topple Western civilization? Toppling my people are easy. You know how many times a day I get asked, why are Jews liberals? And the answer is, I don't know. Most probably because they're schmucks. I have no clue. It's based on pseudo-intellectualism, of something called tikkun olam, of something, the idea of repairing the world. That doesn't lead to leftism, because communism doesn't repair anything. And yet we have rabbi after rabbi and cantor after cantor that engages in a gross misinterpretation, in my view, of these concepts and pushes a leftist ideology over religious intent. It is a failure on every level. It's a failure of Reform Judaism and Reconstructionist Judaism engaging in the kind of people they make rabbis and put onto the pulpits, put onto the bimas, and then engage in a nonsense with their parishioners, with their congregants. It's shameful. Oh, don't worry. I just got uninvited to a whole bunch of houses and a whole bunch of high holidays. Turns out I'm available for Hanukkah if anybody wants to invite me. Nights 1, 2, 7, and 8 in the middle. I'm a little busy. Oh, I'm always a big 3 through 6 day when it comes to Hanukkah. It's embarrassing. True story. So help me. I will not use names. When I was a kid, I was about to enter my senior year of high school, and I went with a youth group to Israel 6 weeks in the summer. Incredible. And, you still, because of Facebook and things, you still know people, connect people, stay in touch a little bit. Hey, how are you? Those kinds of things. And someone a few years back started referring to me as a traitor because I supported President Trump, and how dare you, and the whole thing. Traitor. Because they were a leftist, I'm a conservative, I'm a traitor. I'm the guy who supports Israel's future. I'm the guy who votes for people who don't think that you should be blocking Jews as they walk around a college campus. I'm the traitor. They vote for people who support the biggest bigots amongst us. I'm the traitor. These people are fools, because in many, many parts of Judaism, they've given up their Judaism and replaced it with liberalism. And when one does that, because you make politics your entire life, how possibly could you be rational? I'm a conservative. I'm also Jewish. But I'm a father, and I'm a husband, and I'm a host of things, and my politics don't run my life. I engage them because I believe that this is the best way to allow a society where people get to live to the moment of their happiness, accomplish the most, engage the most liberty. That's what I'm pushing. And I won't lie, I'm pushing it. I share these ideas and these thoughts not because it's good for clicks. If I thought it was good for clicks, I would be all day Trump all the time because that's good for clicks, or I would be never Trump 24/7 because that's good for clicks. Being rational, turns out, doesn't get you as many clicks, kitten. Which brings us back to the people storming churches, and that these arrests are going to keep people from storming churches, and now they'll know. And I say, a good tactic is one that your people enjoy. And they enjoy intimidation. They enjoy the violence. They enjoy punch a Nazi. Some people got arrested. Oh, well, on to the next. I said when this happened that we are a week away from these people burning Bibles. I don't want it. I don't want any of this. I have said many times in my life, I want to be able to engage a rational conversation. We'll agree, we'll disagree. Sometimes I'll win, sometimes I'll lose. But we actually believe that America should be America, that capitalism is better. And my God, we should never want Marxism because we've seen the body count. And I'm not talking about the fun kind of body count where you put a notch on the bedpost. I'm talking about the ugly kind of body count that no one puts a notch on because they're dead. All I want to do is have a good conversation, eat a steak, and have sex with my wife. And sometimes I don't even need the conversation. That's the life I want to live. These people won't allow me to live that life. So we engage these conversations. We push forth with taking a look at the reality in front of us. And the reality states that nothing has shown me that the left isn't interested in more and more and more and more violence. There has been no talking down what happened in this church. This is wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We don't do this. This is the bridge too far. They can't even say it about taking your car and trying to run over ICE agents. And I'm not just talking about Renee Good. Not in the slightest. I'm discussing what's been happening with ICE agents all over the place. How about the false imprisonment? Oh, we blocked them in. We blocked in their car. They can't drive away. Ha ha. Could you imagine any other situation where this is considered acceptable? What has shown anybody that they have backed down? The answer is zero. Why would I believe it now? I don't. Now, maybe I'm just being cynical, right? Maybe I'm just being angry. Someone said to me in the chat, settle down, you're acting strange. I don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe I've just reached a point of where we're fooling no one with these things. These two women have been arrested. Let me ask, when does Don Lemon, the former CNN host, get arrested? Because Don Lemon knew what was going on. Don Lemon knew exactly what was happening. If you never saw this, this is the video. Don Lemon speaking before this group invaded the church and engaged in terrorizing people.
Into Minneapolis a little bit ago and did some reconnaissance on the ground, speaking to an organization there that's gearing up for resistance and protest. I've been pleasantly surprised to see the community coming together. Diverse community. If you see this, when we first pulled up, we're like, wait a minute, which operation are we at? And as it turns out, because we're like, well, this is kind of MAGA coded, right? So the American flag or whatever, but these are resistance protesters. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on.
So he knew about it. By the way, an American flag is MAGA coded. I mean, how much more do you need that these people hate America if you've got a flag? Oh, that's coded for MAGA. When does Don Lemon get arrested? He knew. He was part of this. He was absolutely engaged in the planning. He's right there. Come on, say it with me. Co-conspirator? Huh? I did not think arrest would come, and I am glad to see it, and good on Pam Bondi, who I have been unhappy with as Attorney General. Do I think this is going to turn down the rhetoric? Absolutely not. No one has proven to me that this is going to do that. No one's proven to me that things are going to get less violent. And because I have the data that shows the violence progression, I don't believe these arrests stop anything. It's a good first step, and they should be charged. And so should everybody who was involved. My problem is, my fear is, it doesn't make everybody say, all right, let's just settle down a little bit. Let's vote your conscience, but let's not violate somebody's religious freedoms here. Let's not be intimidating people in churches. No, I think they're going to do more of that. Because they believe, Alinsky, that a good tactic is one that your people enjoy. And I think they love this. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Good to be with you. Tony Katz Today. Where did I have? I thought I had some Mark Rutte about the Greenland deal, which is the most unsurprising thing ever. Because we knew it was coming. We absolutely knew it was coming. Churchill, no, because I don't have a hat. Oh, the cigar. Sorry. Yeah, so this is a Master Blends 3 from Oliva. This is the Churchill's, a box press. 7x48 is what this is, I believe. It's bigger than I normally go for this time of the day, right? But I mean, we're already past noon. I think it's fine. I don't necessarily start the day with a Connecticut like some people do. Oh, it's a morning cigar. Connecticut can be good. Excuse me, anytime. But this is what I usually grab while I'm during the show. There are two streams of the show. There is a stream for desktop and a stream specifically for mobile. And I'll tell you what, the mobile has been fantastic for us. We're not in the millions of views, but wow, it's more people watch that way. It's amazing. Incredible how much that has exploded. Just like the channel has exploded. I mean, I'm not in a place where I'm like bragging numbers yet. I'm usually not a guy who brags anything like that. But we have had great growth since we made some changes. And I am looking forward to what comes from that. And while there have been some things I haven't been able to promote, I haven't had anything taken down because of content. Let's get back to the show. In the single most unsurprising bit of news over the last 24 hours, the President of the United States, his name is Donald John Trump. You've seen the pictures. He announced a deal. He put out there on the social medias, on the Truth Social. If you guys don't know, he has a place all his own that he calls Truth Social. And what he wrote was based upon a very productive meeting. Who doesn't love a good and productive meeting, huh? Based on a very productive meeting, there we go, that I had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled to go in effect on February 1st. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Thank you for your attention to this matter. No crap. Who didn't know that this was coming? All of that posturing and all of that anger from America's political left and from European nations, you knew this was coming. All of this was about creating maximum leverage to create a deal. You can say you don't like the maximum leverage mentality. I hear you. You don't like the madness. I hear you. Right? It's a conversation of, do you like chaos? That this all could have been done without the histrionics. Amen, sister. I absolutely agree with you 1,000%. But this is who the guy is. I knew exactly what I was voting for. Not a child. And I knew, and said it on this show, I knew that what we would get is the Europeans secretly saying, thank goodness that this isn't falling into the hands of the Russians or the Chinese. And when Trump yesterday at Davos at the World Economic Forum stated that this was going to be a place of Golden Dome, so we're going to be protecting European nations too. It's America first and America and Europe. I mean, that's what's coming, right? That's the deal, isn't it? You know, for the people who voted all MAGA, Trump's got a little bit of neocon in him, doesn't he? Or does he have a little bit of realist in him? And this is what it takes to make the deal, because the first rule of Trumpism is Trump wins. And the second rule of Trumpism is that a deal can always be made as long as it adheres to the first rule of Trumpism. We're either going to own part of Greenland or there's some other deal that's going to be made. And all European nations are going to be thrilled. Which leaves us Canada. Yeah, there might be a problem there. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz today. Oh, we're going to start talking about Carmel High School. Yeah, it's going to get weird. Because when I tell you it's like down the road, it's down the road. Producer Landon is in one place and I'm in another place. And Producer Landon, at the most, is 10 miles away from Carmel High School. It's a giant. Carmel High School has 5,000 students. Carmel High School has not built a second high school because they want all the kids in one high school so they can have the best of the best so they can win everything. The girls' swim team has not lost a state championship in 24 years. Producer Landon, you know better than me. 24 years, 26 years? Yeah. The school is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. They built a second Olympic-sized swimming pool. They had their own natatorium. I think U.S. swim trials take place there. It's unreal. Unreal. And Carmel is known as the place of money in Indiana, and is a place that many other cities hate. And it's always been a really conservative spot until recently. Bad school board choices, leftists moving in, suburban white women with radical guilt and an inability to handle their emotions, or the fact that their husband is absolutely banging their secretary. And problems have occurred. And the latest one, I talked about, I don't know if I talked about it here. No, I did talk about it here, but I really talked about it on the morning show. And now libs of TikTok is getting in on this because an email was found. And it's a story. It is a story. And it's a question of, what do we actually want for our schools? Okay. How do I block that out? I can't show a phone number. Edit image. How do I edit? Nope, can't do that. Is there something else I can put in front of that? Let me see. Maybe. Yeah. I don't think that will work right there. No, I don't think that would work. No. Let me see. Oh, Lord, if I can't show it, I can't show it. Let me see. How would I use even any tool to do this? Let me see if I can do this. View. Because no, then I have to download it, do it, and put it back up, and I usually just do it from the actual screen. Shoot, I did not see that. I spoke yesterday of a walkout that was put together by the Women's March. And they went after the groups that they go after. Students, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today, good to be with you. This is a story about how we're paying attention to what happens in our schools, who it is in charge of our schools, and the issues that they are creating for us. They were going to have a walkout because ICE is terrible. So they walked out. Happened a couple days ago. They walked out. And I asked, how in the world are these students leaving school? And the response that I received was, well, their parents are signing them out. Their parents are signing them out? The parents hate their kids so much. They're like, no, you don't have to worry about getting an education. You don't have to worry about whether you disrupt the other students. What you have an issue with ICE and you're 17, and so there's a walkout, and we're okay with this? That is bad parenting as far as I'm concerned. Really and truly terrible parenting. Awful. And so I took note of this and said that this is definitively an issue. That we have first parents who would allow this, shamefully allow this. And then we would have an administration that would let this go. Who in the world, who in their right mind would do this? Who in their right mind would say to a student, well, hey, it's okay. It's all right. You can leave and be a part of this walkout. Is it because you're a fellow traveler? Because you agree that it's okay for kids to miss school, to participate in some kind of nonsense, non-political protest? Well, Tony, it is political. They're letting their beliefs be known. They're 17-year-olds. Why isn't anybody doing anything to ensure that they're in school like the law says they're supposed to be? When I want to take my kid out of school, I got to sign 9 pieces of paper. I got to prove myself this way, that way, and the other way. They want to engage in not being in school to participate in a protest from a group of people that are known to be bigots. The Women's March, led by Linda Sarsour, a group so bigoted, so absolutely gross in their representations, that a lot of people dismissed them and said, oh, I can't be a part of this. I've realized what an awful mistake this is. And what an awful mistake it is indeed. Then you note, and so I discussed this yesterday, and then what comes next? What comes next is an email that Libs of TikTok put up. And thank you to Claudia, because I was blacking it out while I was doing the show. It actually had the phone number, and I'm not about to put a phone number up on the screen here as we're live streaming. So thank you, Claudia, from the chat. Good work. This is an email that was sent out by the principal of Carmel High School, Carmel, Indiana, a place I know very, very well. It's from the principal, a guy by the name of Tim Ferriss. Every interaction I've had with Tim Ferriss, good guy, decent guy. Kids like him, think he's focused, think he's a professional. This was an email sent out January 15th. Now, I welcome Principal Ferriss to call in to discuss his position. And most importantly, is this email legit? I believe that the email is legitimate. The email reads, good afternoon. This is to the Carmel High School staff. A potential walkout could occur on Tuesday at 2:25. The city of Carmel has also been made aware of this possible event. Students are planning to walk from the high school to City Hall, which isn't too far of a walk. We met with the student planning this event to better understand the magnitude and the possible disruption this could cause. The student was cooperative, and after explaining our attendance policy and processes, they have agreed that any student participating will have their parent or guardian create a prearranged absence. Now, at this moment, I stop. At this moment, we have a problem. And here is the issue. Why is Carmel High School negotiating with a student? Why is any high school negotiating with a student? Under what circumstances does the student have a power that forces the administration of the crown jewel of the education system throughout the state of Indiana? Carmel is it, kids. Carmel is the zenith. Carmel is where the money is. Carmel is a seat of power in a place called Hamilton County. I live here. This is my backyard. This is my home. People move to Carmel. Not Carmel, not Caramel, Carmel. They move to Carmel to be in this school district. Everybody within the sound of my voice who lives in Indiana, and I am on stations from one side of the state to the other, they know that's true. And a lot of those cities hate Carmel. They love to hate Carmel. Picking on Carmel is a joy and a treat. Carmel is a place that has 5,000 plus students in its high school. Why? Because Carmel doesn't want to have two high schools, because they want to have one high school where they get the best of the best and they win. Sports this and other events that. And admittedly, it's an amazing place. It is surreal what this school does. For the record, that's where my kids went. Like, this is where I live. Since when is a student in charge of Carmel High School? And at what moment did the superintendent, did the principal, did the school board abdicate their responsibility? When did that happen? But the email continues. And it continues. The scheduled time is during a passing period, and attendance should be taken as normal at the beginning of block 4. If a student does not have a prearranged dismissal in the system and is saying they are leaving your classroom, please just tell them they must sign out at door 21. We do not want to place you in a difficult situation. We will have our administrative team throughout the building during this time to help monitor the situation. We are still gathering information. We'll continue to monitor with our SROs, safety resource officers, and the city of Carmel. Thanks, and it's signed Tim. So you don't have to be signed out by a parent. A kid can just decide to walk out on their own, and the school said, whatever you want, just please don't hurt us. We don't want to have a situation. I guess this is what happens when you have a liberal school board, and we do. And there's groups out there, so we support Carmel and all that. They're leftist organizations that pretend to be nonpartisan, and they get leftists elected because, as I said, suburban white women are terrible. Kids are in charge of the school, ladies and gentlemen. And this isn't just this place in Indiana. This is happening all across the country. You just said the students are in charge. Can I ask why we have a superintendent? Why do we have the principal? Why do we have the school board? The answer is no, you don't get to leave. Sit down. You cause a disruption, you get expelled. Tell your rich parents they can put you in private school. There's a very exclusive private school called Park Tudor, quite literally right down the road. People have heard of Park Tudor all across the country. Bye, Felicia. They gave up. They gave up. They gave up being in charge. They gave up leading the students. Now the high school is like the college because these kids go to college and think they're in charge of the college. And the professors say, please don't hurt us. We just want our tenure. We'll teach you anything you want. Just let us keep making the money. And every now and again, getting a little, from a freshman who wants a better grade. Oh, that doesn't happen? No, that's just, okay. All right. That doesn't happen. Allegedly, there we go. Have I satisfied the lawyers? Great. This is obscene. This is obscene. Now, 300 students walked out of this high school, as was reported by a local publication called youarecurrent.com. 300 out of 5,000. So less than 10%. Are you telling me that Carmel has no way to deal with these students if they weren't allowed to walk out and they caused a problem? We don't say we're in charge. We're the best for a reason. We have the best education for a reason. They just touted that their graduation rate is over 99%. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And they just said, yeah, we're giving it up to the kids. School board failure. And I know that they're listening. You're really bad at this. This is disgusting. Your job is to say no. You, kid, go and learn. You don't get to disrupt. You can have a rally on your time, but this is school, and we've got rules here. And the superintendent should have said, we absolutely don't allow this in this school district. What, are we all nuts? You tell the student to sit down and pay attention in class. Or expulsion. I like the principal. I'm going to run into this man, you know. This isn't somebody who you just are throwing stones at because you're never going to see him again. And people on social media and influencers can just say anything they want because there's no real world ramification. I'm going to run into this man. I'm going to buy a coffee somewhere and he's going to be on line behind me or in front of me. And it's going to be like, oh, hey, Principal Ferris. Hello, cats. It's Seinfeld Newman, but it'll probably be reversed. And this conversation's going to come up. But am I supposed to not talk about a subject because it's my backyard? Absolutely not. We are not going to cede the education landscape to the student in high school. And if this is the case, start sending your kid to private school, start homeschooling, break the school in two, and they can take that beautiful high school in Carmel, Indiana, and they could turn it into condos for all I care, because it's not providing a value. This letter, I believe, is real. If this is real, this is obscene. If kids were allowed to sign themselves out, who's running the asylum? It's time for new leadership. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back. Good to be with you guys. Just fixing this cigar, which was giving me an issue because I let it go too long. So let's see. What comments did I miss? Do you even have kids, dude? You don't have to sign 9 forms or pieces of paper to sign your kids out. You are ridiculous. You're right. You could just say, I want my kid, and no one asks a question. All right. It's not 9 pieces of paper. You win. Forgive my hyperbole of the moment. Is that all you have? Just everything else I said was right, though. Just that. Okay. I'm telling you, this is an issue. This is madness. Let me see what else. There are a lot of roundabouts in Carmel. It makes things better. It does. By the way, you say you're glad you don't live in Carmel. It's actually a beautiful place. But it's happening where you live. This is happening all across the country. All across the country. It's crazed. You had a student in your cohort that would call the school from the bathroom acting as her mom, calling in to excuse her to leave. Oh, well, that's just inventive. That is just inventive right there. Let's see, what else did I miss? They need punishment and they need guidance. Well, I'm not saying no to that at all, but it's not that they don't have thoughts and ideas. I'm not interested in being rude to the kids. It's just you don't get to leave school. The answer is no. Why can't we say no? That's weird to me. And why would we say you could sign yourself out? That's madness. Madness. I have got lots from the Jack Smith testimony going on. Testifying that Biden did not pressure him to go after Trump. Yeah, I don't buy it. But of course, as these things go, you get the typical nonsense. In this case, you get it from everybody's favorite typical nonsense merchant, Hank Johnson, the congressman who once said he worried about too many troops on the island of Guam because it might capsize, with this doozy.
On January 6, 2026, the 5th anniversary of the insurrection, the White House launched a taxpayer-funded website that attempts to rewrite history about what happened on that day of infamy. On January 6, 2021, there was an insurrection at the United States Capitol that resulted in a police officer dying the next day.
No, it did not. That is a lie. You're talking about Officer Sicknick. He did not die because of January 6th. That is not what happened. We know this from a series of reports. This is a lie being told by the Democrat, Hank Johnson. I want to make sure I hear what's next.
Another 4 officers dying by suicide in the months thereafter, with at least 140 police officers being injured.
And not a single Republican demands that his words be taken down. I don't know if that can be done in a committee as opposed to just on the floor. No Republican screams, "Stop lying, you disgusting low-life dummy liar. Stop lying, you fool. Stop lying, sir. Stop lying." Well, don't say please. Don't beg to these people. You want to have a conversation, have a conversation. If you want to disagree with something, disagree on its merits. You call it an insurrection. Okay, we all get what you're doing. It was a riot, not an insurrection. And neither here nor there for the rest of the part of my conversation. You want to claim people were killed because of January 6th? Ashley Babbitt was killed. And that's that. It was a lie. Where were the Republicans to say it was a lie? Do I have to keep playing it?
By the insurrectionists, with 15 of them requiring hospitalization. And I'm proud that we have 4 former officers as well as on duty.
Nope, they said nothing. No one died because of January 6th except for Ashley Babbitt. No officer died because of January 6th. It's a lie told by Congressman Hank Johnson. Where's anybody in that house to say, how dare you? This is Tony Katz today. with that, here's what's going on. We've got more show to go. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to bring you stuff that came from Jack Smith's testimony, including I have the entire questioning from. Oh, I do have the entire questioning from Jim Jordan, which is gonna be fun. So we've got that. Cash to self-deport. I've got three more things, including Chris Cuomo's a clown. It's crazy what just occurred with him regarding Scott Jennings. It's something else. So I've got a lot to get to. Stay right here. Now, really quick, you guys know I've been talking about this. Trump 1 year later, a red tie gala, the highs, the lows, how we win the midterms this Saturday. The 3 bourbons to try, the food, the music. It's going to be such a party, and people are dressing up. It's going to be amazing. Right now, the show goes on. There is a news or a weather update that's going to be given at 2 o'clock today because, we've got these storms. I'm going to be paying very close attention to that update. We are getting snow here. We could possibly get ice here. We're certainly going to have the bitter cold here. Some things we can handle. But if that line has moved north, I've got an issue. Are there some VIP tickets? Yes. If you email me, Tony@TonyKatz.com, I can send you the link for the last 3 VIP tickets I could muster. And you can get them. So I can do that. So I'm paying very close attention. So if you're coming, some things just for safety might change. And I don't like it, but I'm also not crazy. We're going to postpone to another day, and I've already worked some things out. We're going to see. We are going to see. By the way, if I could get the knack, I would totally have the knack play. Don't be ridiculous. And yeah, Blizzard Party would be great if they had rooms for everyone to stay in, because then everyone would stay. It'd be nuts. And there it is. See, Jeff, that's what I'm seeing. And that's my fear. They're updating it north. Right now, this thing is staying below 70, which is a major thoroughfare that runs through basically the middle of Indianapolis. And it's always weird. Storms are above 70 or storms are below 70. So this is here, which would put us in a good spot in Indianapolis. But the storm looks like it's widening north. And if it widens north, I'm not risking everybody. I'm just not doing it. So we're keeping an eye on that. With that, guys, we're going to take the break. We'll come back to the show. Hang loose, smoke them if you got them. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Good to be with you. The show is called Tony Katz Today. I don't know who messed with my camera that I'm no longer perfectly aligned, but when I find them, we have got Jack Smith testifying in front of was it House Judiciary and talking about his investigation into President Trump and the testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson. Cassidy Hutchinson, who made a series of claims about things that President Trump said. Wasn't she the one who said that he was lunging at the driver on January 6th? And we have to change this. We have to turn around. We have to do this. We have to go there. And Jim Jordan gave the grilling. The grilling. So we will get into it. I'm going to share that with you. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, I do have. I will get into that Chris Cuomo story on three more things. Okay. All right, we're coming back. We're just going over a couple things. And now I've got Darrell Issa losing his head about Jack Smith, just getting it all together.
Star witness, January 6th committee, their star witness in one of those staged and choreographed hearings they paid the former president of ABC News to put together. She was, in fact, the only witness at this special prime time hearing Tuesday, June 28th, 2022, 8 o'clock in the evening. And she told some stories. I mean, these were some stories. She talked about President lunged across the back seat, grabbed the steering wheel, tried to drive the car to the Capitol. And I just want to know, you think she was lying?
Chairman Jordan, my assessment of that particular issue is that with respect to the testimony about the president lunging towards the driver, my recollection of her testimony about that is that it was secondhand. She said she'd heard that from somebody.
You familiar with the name Tony Ornato?
I'm sorry.
You familiar with the name Tony Ornato?
Yes.
White House Deputy Chief of Operations, Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations, right? You remember what he said about it?
As I sit here right now, I do not.
Yeah, he said it didn't happen.
That is Congressman Jim Jordan grilling Jack Smith, the special counsel who was looking into Donald Trump, who was looking to find a way to keep him from running for president and winning and being the 47th president of the United States. Oh, Kamala was so upset. Tony Katz Today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Cigar in hand, ready to go. Streaming on YouTube. Join the chat, youtube.com, Tony Katz. Subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Well, the term witch hunt, I think, is a term of oftentimes cheapness. It is obvious to anyone that the lawfare that was put in place to keep Donald Trump from running for president, never mind winning the presidency, was massive. It was a mountain to climb. It was purposeful in its duplicitousness. And that it failed is a testament to the fact that Trump will walk through anything. And it's why many people vote for him. But in this discussion with Jack Smith testifying in front of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan is the chairman of that committee. The conversation is about Cassidy Hutchinson. Cassidy Hutchinson was an assistant to Chief of Staff Mark Meadows during the first Trump administration. And in this testimony in 2022, she said about Trump that his conduct was out of control. And yes, that he tried to grab the steering wheel and force the driver to head to the Capitol so he could be part of the protest. Now, I don't know about you. I have never ridden in the Beast before. That's the president's limo, but I've seen it. How does the president reach over to the driver? How does any of that work? Never mind. I don't claim to be an expert on armored limousines. I am, however, someone who is pretty adept at saying, as Representative Jordan explained so well, this made-for-TV event where they hired a television showrunner to produce these primetime hearings about January 6th so they could set a narrative without any rebuttal regarding what happened. So they never have to engage the culpability of someone like Nancy Pelosi. And where was the National Guard, the turning down of help from President Trump before this happened? Now, remember, we should be clear, I don't leave Trump totally out on this subject. I put forth to you that it absolutely was not an insurrection. It was not. But when the vice president of the United States is in trouble, you should have sent everybody at your disposal to go get him. There was nothing acceptable about leaving him there. It was unknown what the situation was at the time. And I said then, and I still say it now, he should have sent everybody to go get him. 1,000%. But what happened next in terms of the January 6th committee, in terms of these so-called hearings, this was made-for-TV nonsense. This was Pravda. This was gross. And now, after all of those prosecutions failed, whether that be by their own implosion, like Fani Willis in Georgia, or by Supreme Court making decisions and therefore saying, well, I can't move any more forward here, we now have Jack Smith in front of the committee and Jim Jordan, I think, really waiting for this moment.
How about Bobby Engel? You familiar with that name?
Yes, I am.
Secret Service agent who was actually in the car that day. You know what he said? He said it didn't happen. And they both said the first time they ever heard this story was when Ms. Hutchinson testified in the primetime hearing as their star witness of the January 6th committee. By the way, did you ever confirm her testimony about this particular incident?
We conducted, as I said before, our own independent investigation of all aspects of the case that we thought was relevant. We, attorneys from my office.
Did you ever confirm it? That's a simple question.
Well, we interviewed her, I should say, attorneys in my office before.
Did you ever confirm the president leaping across the seat, grabbing the steering wheel, this whole concoction she brought up in the January 6th hearing? Did you ever confirm that?
Right. We interviewed another firsthand witness who was in the car who did not confirm that had happened, but also
in your deposition to the committee last month, Mr. Smith, you said this: my recollection with Ms. Hutchinson was a number of the things that she gave evidence on were secondhand hearsay. You remember making that statement to us last month in the deposition?
I did, and I was referring particularly to what we're talking about now.
Yeah, and you also said Ms. Hutchinson regarding this particular claim was a second or even third-hand witness. We asked you, if you were a defense attorney, how would you handle cross-examining her if she was on the witness stand? And you said, if I were a defense attorney and Ms. Hutchinson were a witness, the first thing I would do was seek to preclude her testimony because it was hearsay. You remember saying all that?
Yes, that's correct, sir.
That's correct, right? Were you going to put her on the witness stand if you ever got to trial?
We had not made final determinations as to who we were going to call as a witness. We had a
You were still considering her?
We had a large choice of witnesses in this case.
Are you familiar with what Washington Post reporters Carol Leonnig and Aaron Davis said in their book? They did this book, 300-some pages book on chronicling the whole investigation of the Justice Department. And here's what they said on page 310. They said Jack Smith had wondered whether some of Hutchinson's claims might be relied upon at trial. Still, at one point, Smith told the elections team he wasn't ready to give up on Hutchinson's account. Ultimately, however, Trump administration officials uniformly, fiercely disputed her accounts under oath. Prosecutors on your team told Smith they wouldn't want to use Hutchinson as a witness in court, and Smith agreed. Are Carol Leonnig and Aaron Davis, who wrote this, are they lying?
I don't even want to hear the rest. The grilling was brutal. And rightfully so. There is no question to me, although you can say there's a question to you, that Jack Smith went in with a goal. How do I get Trump? It was Laventry Beria. Show me the man and I'll show you the crime. This was his modus operandi. And this was the modus operandi, I believe, of the Democratic Party. He wants to say, and he has said, that the Biden team did not pressure him. I don't believe he had to be pressured. I believe he wanted to do it. This brings us to the questioning from Congressman Darrell Issa of California.
Withhold that information from an Article III judge in the process of taking the records of the Speaker of the House.
We complied with Department.
Did you hold
Mr.
back
Chairman,
that
would you
information?
please instruct the gentleman to allow the witness to answer the questions?
It's not your time. I'd like my time back.
Mr. Chairman, you have
please.
repeatedly done that in the past. The witness has the right to answer the
Democrats are
question.
angry.
And there'll be due time to answer the question. Would you please put my time back and let me finish this? Mr. Smith, I asked you a question and you were not responsive to it, and I want you to be responsive to it. Did you, whether you think it was legal or not, whether you think it was right or not, did you withhold the name of Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, when you were seeking records on Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, or Jim Jordan, the chairman of this committee?
At the time the gentleman is...
No, please
you
give
got a
me
few
back
more
the
seconds.
time that was taken away.
Time has expired, but we're going to let the witness answer your question because it's an important question. The witness can respond.
We did not provide that information to the judge when we requested a non-disclosure order, consistent with the law and consistent with Department.
Mr. Chairman, the amazing thing here today is that we have an admission that an article...
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman's time has
come on.
expired by now 34 seconds.
Democrats know they're caught in this. You went looking and fishing for information without saying who it was you were looking for the information on. It was, and I hate the term, a witch hunt. It is clear and it is obvious and it is without question. And that brings us to Brandon Gill. That brings us to Brandon Gill right here. Now, if you don't know Brandon Gill, he has been a very, very unique force of nature in the House. It's been something else. He has been non-stop in his questioning, in his ability to ask the questions, to stay on focus, to stay on target, cool, calm, collected. And there was this right here.
Yes, sir, we did.
Yes, you did. And the subpoena covered the time period between November 2020 and January 2021. Is that right?
I'm sorry, sir. Could you say that again?
We're not going to delay like this. The subpoena covered the time period between November of 2020 and January 2021. How many days after Kevin McCarthy was sworn in as Speaker did you subpoena his records?
I don't recall, but those two things had nothing to do with one.
It was 16 days after becoming the highest ranking Republican in the House of Representatives. You subpoenaed his toll records. Do you agree that that might reasonably be considered a violation of the speech or debate clause?
I do not, and I want to be clear that the toll
You were
records-
collecting months worth of phone data on the Republican Speaker of the House, the leader of the opposition, right after he got sworn in as Speaker, all around the time of a major vote. That sounds like a flagrant violation of the speech or debate clause to me, and I think most people agree with me. And Speaker McCarthy had no recourse, did he? Because you issued a non-disclosure order ensuring that neither he nor any of the American people knew about these subpoenas. Is that right?
The toll record, the non-content toll record subpoenas, we did secure non-disclosure orders for those subpoenas.
You did. And let me ask you, Mr. Smith, at the time you secured those non-disclosure orders, was Speaker McCarthy a flight risk?
The non-disclosure order was based on concerns about...
Was Speaker McCarthy a flight risk?
He was not.
He was not. Then why did your non-disclosure order refer to him as a flight risk? It says right here, the court finds reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure will result in flight from prosecution.
Now, before we go any further, first of all, Brandon Gill's very good. The speech or debate clause, Article 1, Section 6, Clause 1. The senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. So the argument is, if the Speaker of the House was engaged in any conversation, they cannot be prosecuted for that conversation. But the special counsel, Jack Smith, decided to go after phone records and other records without informing anybody of whose records he was going after, claiming them to be a flight risk, as Representative Gill does explain, to then utilize their words that are protected by the Constitution against them for his purposes. We could say it another way, manipulated.
Sir, when securing a non-disclosure order, the risks don't have to be
You
associated.
think that the Speaker of the House is a flight risk?
The question?
No, this is not your time. This is my time. You think the Speaker of the House is a flight risk? You think he's going to hop on a plane and leave the country?
No, what I was trying to explain is with respect to a non-disclosure order, the risks aren't necessarily associated with the subscriber to the phone. They're the risks to the investigation.
I think that you were using, this was clearly in reference to Speaker McCarthy, and you were using clearly false information to secure a non-disclosure order to hide from Speaker McCarthy and from the American people the fact that you were spying on his toll records. But I've got more, so let's move on.
Never forget that when they have power, there is nothing they won't do. And did you hear all the Democrats interrupting? Republicans don't do that. I believe that Republicans have to start so they'll stop. But I may not get my way on that. Is Jack Smith as low as you thought he was? Oh, lower. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. Sorry, guys. My fault. So I was noting that I was talking to producer Landon and discussing a story from CNBC that shows that how the Fed views inflation, the personal consumption expenditures price index, 2.8%, which is higher than what people have been saying of 2.7, which I actually think is 3.6, but it's certainly not the central bank rate of 2%. The inflation's not done. We're not smart. So producer Landon's like, it's because we're savants. And I said, you mean I'm a savant? But no part of that is true. It's not true. It is the idea that what we're seeing is reality. We've been paying attention from the beginning. Nothing of this is new to us. The inflation's not gone. And where Trump has won this battle is all these tariffs and inflation didn't jump up to 4.5%. But it's not where the Fed wants it. It's not where Trump wants it. Trump's answer is we have to lower rates. Lower rates and inflation creates more inflation. But Trump is going to get what he wants because Powell will be out in May. We'll also talk about what's going on with the Fed and the Supreme Court. I will get to that. So there's a third arrest that's been made in this church terrorism in St. Paul. And if you tell me I can't call it terrorism, they call January 6th an insurrection. I'll say what I will. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. They arrested the guy, William Kelly. William Kelly was the guy screaming at people and wearing the blank Trump hat and was doing his Grizzly Adams impression. And then there's talk that Lemon is not going to get arrested. I don't know if that is true. I do not know. I know what's getting reported. I simply do not know if that is indeed factual, if the judge in question is the one who makes the decision blanket, meaning that if this judge over here, some magistrate judge, says no, can another judge say, excuse me, go right ahead? I don't have enough data to answer that, to be able to say with certitude. So I'm going to hold off on the Lemon stuff. I'm going to say that this is good. It was Pam Bondi earlier today, the Attorney General announcing arrests in the church case, St. Paul, Minnesota, where the so-called anti-IS protesters, really these anti-American, anti-Christian zealots, as I see it, entered the church, disrupted church services, were trying to intimidate parishioners, were screaming at parishioners. A woman by the name of Nakima Levy Armstrong, who was a organizer, was arrested. A woman by the name of Chantel Allen was arrested. She's also part of the St. Paul School Board. You can imagine what's going on there. These people were arrested, and now we have a third arrest of this guy Kelly, who was screaming and yelling at people, and he was the guy who said, if you want to arrest me, arrest me. If you want to kill me, kill me. But you can kill the man, but you can't kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution. I mean, when they tell you who they are, believe them. As a matter of fact, this guy made a video and he's like, if you want to arrest me, arrest me. And Pam Bondi reposted the video and all she wrote was, okay. Great. We're really, really good at Twitter. I'm actually impressed that we're arrests. I got to admit, I'm amazed. From Pam Bondi, I expected nothing to happen. Now, will these people be convicted? That I don't know, but at least this part is happening. This is Tony Katz today. Very good. Very, very, very good. I have people out there who are defending the kids being able to walk out of school for any protest, signing themselves out, defending it. If the student can sign themselves out, for what reason do we need anything? Who's in charge? Well, the teacher, you don't need the teacher because the kid could be like, I don't have to listen to the teacher. The kid's in charge, right? Administrators, anything else, the kids can handle it all. We just have a big building with a cafeteria. They'll take care of the rest. This idea that somehow we can't treat kids like kids and remind them that they're kids. Remarkable. Anyway, yeah, so I saw that, but that's why I brought it up, and I appreciate you, Troll Giggle. By the way, what a name. Bringing that up. It's just that I'm not 100% sure that's all we'll see. That's my only caveat right now. So I'll dig into more of that tomorrow. All churches, Jeffrey, need security. All of them. Everywhere. Constantly. They need security. So I've got this story here. I've got this story here. I just did that. I'm going to get rid of that. I have got that done, and I've got that done. And I don't think there's anything going on. I don't think the president's speaking or anybody else like that right now. The House Minority Leader is holding a news conference. If it's okay with you, I'm going to pass on that. Not going to do that. And then we've got that story done, and I've got that done. Now I've got that right there. Scott. I didn't even get to Kevin Kiley's stuff. I had a lot of stuff today. Good Lord. All right, so I've got that. There's a blood shortage going on. It's something I should do. It's something I haven't done. But it's important. It's something to organize there, Producer Landon. Like, just quarterly blood drives around here. Right? You know how they usually give you like a cookie afterward or some juice and get your blood sugar back up? I'll find a local bakery and we'll support a local bakery each time and we'll have them do it. We'll just, I don't know, can you set up the blood drive before you go in and grab a bourbon? Or is that a bad combo? Yeah, we're going to call it blood loss and bourbon? Wow. We can call it bloody bourbon. That's just weird, though. That is weird. I don't think we can do that. Let's. But I do like the idea. No, we can just do it. Do it quarterly. It's needed. So let's do it. Three more things, stories that aren't getting reported in large measure, but should be. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Find everything I do over at TonyKatz.com. And I had some people ask, hey, this weather that's coming, how does this affect your event? Trump 1 year later, the Red Tie Gala. I've got people still asking for tickets. It's been crazy. Just a real quick synopsis. I've been wanting to do this. I was going to do a recap of the year and then how it plays into the midterms. And I still argue that the midterms are winnable. The numbers are rough. But I believe it's winnable. It just takes not only preparation, it takes sticking to the topic, right? Staying on task, not getting distracted. So I've got this big event, the Hyatt Regency, downtown Indianapolis, Saturday night. And we were doing it red tie, and some people are like, wait, is that a tux or a gown? I'm like, yep. What about cocktail attire? Yep. How about just pants? Absolutely. People are getting dressed up, and some people are like, I was trying, I want to get dressed up, and I was selling tickets through Christmas. They're like, Tony, I can't focus on tickets. I got to get the kids gifts and everything else. So I learned a lot about timing on this event. But over the last 2 weeks, whoop, here we go to the races. We're going to have a fantastic night. And then this storm's coming through. It's like, are you kidding? And everybody's talking about these storms. The snow, the bitter cold, the ice. They're expecting massive ice in Tennessee. You've got preparations taking place in Virginia. You've got the Northeast in a full-on panic. And isn't that always the way? If we in the Midwest get a storm, no one pays attention. They're like, oh, by the way, it snowed over there in that place you fly over to get to California. They don't care. But they get half an inch of snow, and it's a front page story. And then the Today Show is going to have Al Roker in some kind of winter coat talking about polar vortexes, and the whole thing becomes a story. It's ridiculous. The weather reports have been changing and changing constantly. And right now, where I live, where this event is happening, we're kind of okay. We're going to see a little bit of snow and then the cold. But it's very possible this whole thing's going to shift northward. And then I have to ask a question. What do you do? What do you do at that moment? Me, I'm a show must go on guy. Reality is, I don't want to put anybody at risk coming to an event. That's crazy. It's not about me. It's about you. So I'm watching. I am watching this weather because it might change what's happening. So if you've got tickets, hold on, because it's not canceled. Might get postponed. We don't know yet. Right now, everything is on. Everything. So that could change in an hour. Right now, all good. But yeah, people are focused on this storm because in places, admittedly, it's going to be really bad. And people are going to be in a lot of hurt. Especially when you see ice on the roads and you're talking about inches of ice and the snow totals that they're looking at and the bitter cold. Check on a neighbor. Honestly, check on a neighbor. And would you drip your faucets, please? As a guy who has had pipes burst in the house, came back from vacation to a family room that was no longer a family room. Just flooded, ripped apart, walked into water pouring out of the ceiling. It was brutal. And the collection of books that my wife had, 300 some odd books in the bookshelves, some first edition stuff given to her by her late father, destroyed. She went through with the kids, went through every book and made a list because had to do it for insurance purposes. I have actually never seen her that devastated. Just this connection to her childhood, this connection to her father, this connection to these moments in times where she picked these things up. Just the horrible to watch. It was, and it sounds like such a little thing. Hey, you were able to rebuild. No one died. It's true. You win that battle. But these things that connect you to how you grew up and how you came to be in these moments with family and stuff, this is not small stuff. It was crazy. And I don't want that for anybody else. So drip your faucets. Then there is the trees are going to explode. Producer Landon was discussing this earlier. If I understand it right, the tree doesn't actually explode like it's tannerite or something like that. Doesn't go boom. It pops because, the water inside the tree, the ice expands and it bursts. So as I understand it, the tree doesn't actually explode. It's just the popping you hear from the trees. And yes, that's a good point, Pete. It's not only ice on the roads, it's ice on the power lines. That's where things get rough. Ice on the trees, and then that stuff falls, and That's what we're looking out for. And that is true from Oklahoma, right? So our friends there on KRMG, we're looking out for you. We're hoping it all works out because we're hearing about the cold now, and I want to know how you guys are experiencing it all the way through to the Virginias and then up into New York, and then it'll push its way out. Getting more and more information on that storm. There's also a blood shortage, according to the Red Cross. The national blood supply fell about 35%. So you've got flu activity keeping people from giving blood, winter weather keeping people from giving blood, holiday season keeping people from giving blood, and blood drives are down. The blood supply has fallen. We need the blood. So I was saying to producer Landon, that's actually something we could coordinate. So maybe we'll get into that in the month of February. I'm not going to be able to do it that quick. Maybe we can start doing some blood drives. So if you are somebody who gives, maybe before the storm comes, if you have the chance, give some blood and bring yourself a snack. Then there is Mahmoud Khalil, who's going to be deported to Algeria. Thank you, producer Landon. I appreciate that. Oh, the cheering that is going on right there. Mahmoud Khalil is this guy from, he's Syrian-born. He was at Columbia leading the charge to intimidate Jewish students, prevent them from walking across campus, taking over buildings, and all the rest. And he gets arrested. He's going to be deported. And then a judge says, you can't deport him. And then he gets out, and he's with Ocasio-Cortez, and he's like, I'm not afraid of you, Donald Trump. And then a 3-judge panel from the Third Circuit said, who is this judge to say that you can't have him in custody? He's got to go through the whole process. He has no standing to challenge anything until he's gone through the process. And now we're hearing that he will be deported to Algeria. That's what's next. Now, according to Trish McLaughlin, who is the Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs at DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is a reminder for those who are in this country on a visa or a green card. You are a guest in this country. Act like it. It is a privilege, not a right, to be in this country, to live, or to study. Does anybody have a problem with that? Does anybody have a problem with that? That doesn't mean that you could be attacked or assaulted and not have recourse. It's that when you act to intimidate, threaten students or citizens are citizens, we simply don't allow that. When you show clear support for a terrorist organization, which Hamas is, you don't get to stay. You got to go. You just got to leave. You got to be gone. That's all there is to it. I'm glad to see this movement take place. I think it's important that we set up rules and that the rules be followed. I think that there are citizens out there who grossly support terrorist organizations. It's awful. Support of Hamas is disgusting. They're citizens. They have the right to be disgusting. When we talk about someone who is not a citizen, we don't have to keep you in the country. We owe you zero in that regard. You owe us. And if you're going to be supporting terrorists, we should remove you. This brings us to Chris Cuomo, who sadly we cannot deport. Now, I am not sure I can play this. I'm not sure I can play this because it's Chris Cuomo, and Chris Cuomo is the kind of guy who curses a lot. I mean, a whole bunch. But Chris Cuomo is over there at NewsNation, and he's angry with Scott Jennings. Now, you know Chris Cuomo from his days at CNN. And his days at CNN, he was the one who braved COVID, and he spent time in the family basement, and he walked out of the basement on camera, looked at me, I'm past COVID, I'm so brave. It was also very weird. He was the guy who was supportive of his brother, the governor, Andrew Cuomo, who sent grandma to die, who would send these people back to nursing homes? He sent them to die. And while the left tried to make it as Andrew Cuomo was really leading the smart fight on COVID, that was not true. Not at all or in any way. It was Chris Cuomo who was on was it not on video, but on audio saying, hey, these women who are accusing you of this, that, and the other, give me their names. I'll see what I can do. That's Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo, finger on the dump button there, producer Landon. Chris Cuomo was saying this about Scott Jennings.
You see this clip of Scott Jennings saying, how are you going to enforce it? How are you going to enforce me not saying the word illegals anymore? How are you going to do that?
Say illegals anymore, because ICE is directly targeting legal citizens of this country. And how
are you going to enforce your edict on me, just out of curiosity?
Listen, I understand.
But just listen to his point about illegal.
No, what are you, bully now? What are you, tough guy? Because you're talking to this kid who...
That kid is 25 years old, if I understand it correctly. And that kid not only decided to tell Scott Jennings he can't say certain things, that kid accused Donald Trump of being part of a sex trafficking ring and had to come out and recant his statement because he knew it was going to end up in a lawsuit. But here's Chris Cuomo going after Scott Jennings for being a tough guy. Cameron Kasky is this kid's name, and on CNN said you can't use the word illegal anymore. And Scott Jennings asked the right question to the leftist: how are you going to enforce your edict? These people think that they can bully us and tell us what we can and can't say. And now here comes Chris Cuomo to do what? Go after Scott Jennings for being right? What kind of tough guy thing is this from Chris Cuomo? Chris Cuomo was a guy trying to silence women for his brother. No, that didn't happen. That's all just something that got said and never was actual. Never was factual. What did Scott Jennings say so wrong? The answer is nothing. What is this tough guy routine from you, Chris? It's also nothing. You're not tough. Just so we're clear. No one thinks you're tough. No one believes you're tough. And if you think it's okay for someone to say, you're not allowed to say that, would you? Would you take that as a television host? Of course not. And he's not a kid. He's 25. How old is Cameron Kasky? He goes on TV. He wants to engage. He's a 25-year-old. And he ran up against a buzzsaw named Scott Jennings, who properly put him in his place for being ridiculous. You're mad at Scott for that? Chris, the only guy playing tough guy is you. And for the record, nobody thinks you're tough. You are so lucky to have that job. I can't believe they gave it to you. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Guys, glad you are here. I have a question, writes Deborah. When an illegal commits a crime, why are they sent somewhere else? Shouldn't they just be tried and jailed here so they don't return? Oh, I get, okay, now I understand the question. If you send them back, they'll come back. Maybe, but I don't think you can. If we are totally focused on the idea of, okay, we'll keep them in jail here. Now we're paying for the here. We're already paying enough. I think that would be part of the argument. That's David's point, right? Every inmate costs you, the taxpayer, money. But you understand what she's asking. They just come back across the border. So why are we're like fighting a never-ending battle. If we take a look at border crossings now, illegal border crossings being down so much, then maybe the deportations now is a better result, right? Maybe the argument is, what good was deportation when you had a porous border? But if you have a strong border, now deportation makes more sense. So, I think I understand your question, and David's point is absolutely true. But her question was her point was they keep coming back. And the answer is, if we're actually going to now enforce the law, that's why we should deport. Before, pre-Trump, your question was not a better one. It's not the word I mean. I would say more validity or made more sense. Like, hey, this is a weird thing that we keep doing here. For sure. A very, very weird thing. But I appreciate the comment very, very much. Also, we have not eliminated the troll situation. Not by a long shot. It is crazy what is happening every single day. Every day. The shooting in Uvalde, 2022, put that on the record as one of the most horrifying things that many of us have ever witnessed. That story, 29 children killed in that shooting just outside of El Paso? Tony Katz today, good to be with you. And what made that story so horrifying was that the officer involved, the Uvalde school police officer, Adrian Gonzalez, didn't enter the school, didn't go in to protect those kids. He was charged with 29 counts of child abandonment or endangerment. There was a trial. The jury deliberated for 7 hours and found him not guilty. I had not thought about the case in a while. I can't say that it was top of my mind or that I really was fully aware that the trial was going on. When I see that result, I must tell you, that was a kick. If you can be a school police officer and you're not there to put yourself in the line of fire to protect children, what are we doing? We saw this at Parkland, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. We see it here. I say let's arm the teachers, those who want to be armed. Let's arm the parents, get them the training and put them in there. Someone who's willing to stop the violence. Not guilty. Wow. This is Tony Katz today. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. Awful. Absolutely awful, awful, awful story. So yes, still a tremendous amount of trolling. I don't know why, but okay. People are building whole livelihoods around trolling this show. God bless him. Guys, I appreciate you very, very, very much. The show continues. The radio show continues at WIBC.com. My conversation with Ed Marcy of Hot Air, talking about that breaking news of the arrests that took place from Pam Bondi of these people who stormed the churches. I will give me an hour, maybe two, and decisions are going to get made about the event. We're going to see where this weather is. Right now, it's not great. But we've got some briefings coming up. We're paying attention. We'll get to it. Don't forget to find me on Twitter, X, Tony Katz, Facebook, Tony Katz Radio, even though Facebook sucks. And, of course, YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube right now. Go to youtube.com, Tony Katz, and click, subscribe? Is that what you click? Click that. Do that and subscribe. I'd love to have you there. See the videos, and don't forget TonyKatz.com is where you find everything that I do. Can't thank you guys enough for being here. I'm back tomorrow. The show goes on, and a shalom to you too. I appreciate you guys. I will catch you tomorrow. And don't forget, tickets.tonykatz.com. If we reschedule, your ticket's still good. You can still get tickets. And if you emailed me about the VIP, I'll send you the link right now. Appreciate you guys. Take care.